Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's Thursday. Hi, Dylan.
Yo, Lee.
How you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Nice. Good to hear.
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Yeah, it's great to be back.
Yeah. Taking Wednesday off is sort of weird. Yeah, we were talking about that.
That's right.
Maybe better to do 4 days in a row.
Yeah, I think so. I would agree.
It's more fun.
Yeah, it's better momentum.
Here we are, behind the scenes at the podcast land. Every day, like when I think about things I could talk about, or stories I could tell, they break into three categories. I have some pretty darn good boxing stories.
Yeah, you do.
And I have some good animal stories. And I forgot what the other stories were. There was three categories. So that happens when you get high before the podcast. You forget.
Your music stories and your musical history?
I have music stories.
Yeah.
How convenient that I would forget the music stories, That's almost comical,
Definitely
music stories can be salacious. I like the fun ones. I like the fun music stories. You want to hear how we sort of stole the Doors helicopter one time?
Yeah, I definitely want to hear that.
Want to hear that? Okay.
That sounds crazy.
So they were a bigger deal than I was, But, when they have these like festivals, all the different bands are at the festivals, right?
Yeah.
So we're flying up from LA on a regular plane, and we're sitting up more towards the front of the plane because we got on sooner. It was like one of those planes where there's no class of seats, just
okay.
Yeah. So we were up front because we got up front, and so they caught on the same plane because they were going to the same place, and they were way back in the back because by the time they cruised on, being cool, there was no more seats,
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so when we arrived there, it's like in Seattle, I think it was Seattle. Yeah, Seattle. And we arrive at the airport, and those were the days when you walk down the ramp onto the concrete, and then you walk over into the terminal.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Yeah. So we're walking down, and there's a helicopter standing there. We come walking down, and the guy waves to us. And so I'm thinking on my feet. I'm a street kid. I go, be cool. And so I know instantly that helicopter's not for us, But I know, and I've already in my mind, I know it's their helicopter, So we go over there, and the guy's cool. He opens the door for us. We jump in. We take off.
No way, you jump in.
Yeah, he thinks we're the Doors. So we get in the helicopter. I don't know what he was thinking, but anyway, he let us in the helicopter. We take off. We're flying along. We start talking to him. He tells me he's just back from Vietnam. He's a helicopter pilot in Vietnam.
Okay.
We're flying above this water. There's all this water everywhere.
Wow.
So we're flying along. And I go, well, I'm a military brat. And we start talking. I go, man, show us what this thing can do. Really, show us some shit like you see in the movies. He goes, really? He goes, really? And we go, yeah. And so he starts blasting along so fast, and we're right above the water, right? We're going along in this helicopter. We're going so fucking fast, I think we're going to crash. And then he flips it around like a Brody. Like we're going like super fast. He just flips it around and the back, and then we go like this. He flips it around and the whole thing goes up like this, but it's going up backwards. So we're going, and he goes, and we go, boom, and we're going, fuck, just totally freaked us out. And
man, that's incredible.
And so then we're coming, and the place. Like if we would have had to take ground transportation, which we were going to do,
right.
It would have taken us forever to get to this place. And plus when you go to festivals, there's traffic for days. It would have just been a nightmare of all nightmares, right? But we weren't that big of an act at the time. So anyway, so we get the helicopter. So we're coming there, and there's the crowd of people, a giant fucking zillion people down below. And I tell the guy, oh, do something cool as we fly over the crowd. So he goes, okay. And he flies over the crowd. He does a big spin around up in the air. And then he comes down and he lands on the helicopter pad. It was the coolest. It was the coolest thing. And the promoter's there because he's going to greet the Doors, right? The promoters. It's like, and the door opens and we leap out. And you can see the guy's jaw hit the ground.
Like, what the fuck are these guys?
So we got the free helicopter, and then they had to send the helicopter back to pick those guys up,
That's hilarious.
But we were thinking on our feet, we were coming down the ramp. The second I saw the helicopter and the guys waving to us, I'm going, yeah, okay. He's waving to us. We're going, yeah, man, here we come, I mean,
that's fucking great.
He waved us over,
Yeah, it was cool.
Anyway, it was the greatest helicopter ride I ever had in my life.
That's some badass shit, man.
And the promoter didn't say anything to us. He just ignored us, What could he do? There we were, So I got no personal repercussion from that, but it's a good story. And I don't even know if those guys ever knew that we took their helicopter. They probably did. At some point, somebody probably told them or something. Absolutely. I'm sure by the time they got out of the plane, we were fucking out of sight.
Right.
We were first people out of the plane. The guys there waving at us. We go, yeah, we run right over and bingo, we're gone. They're still waiting to get off the plane. Anyway, it was a great day.
So you guys didn't face any repercussions for
nothing
like that? Nice. Scot-free. Excellent.
But we didn't get a helicopter ride back to the airport.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah.
That's some badass shit, though. That's like some Tom Cruise Mission Impossible shit, doing the spins.
Oh, the guy did the most wild shit, and he was just back from Vietnam. It was like it was a perfect. And then I told him I was a military brat, and we sort of clicked. And and the guy just did it. It was so cool.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I say too.
Man.
Wow.
That's some action-packed shit.
So there you are. I didn't know what I was going to talk about today, and I was saying I could talk about boxing or I could talk about whatever, and then I forgot all about music. So there, I told you a music story. How's that for a music story?
That's great. Fantastic.
Yeah, we stole the Doors helicopter. I should say I stole it, actually. But that's what happens, man. When you're like a street kid, you're thinking on your feet. I was coming down that ramp, and the guy's waving, and I just go, yeah, because I knew it wasn't for us.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was the coolest thing, man. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I just waved back and went over and got in the helicopter, I thought you sent it for me. Thank you. I thought that was our helicopter. Sorry.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Amazing story, Lee.
Anyway, that's a fun one.
Yeah.
I don't mind telling fun stories.
Yeah.
Most music stories are sort of salacious, because they involve salacious shit, which didn't seem that salacious at the time. Looking back on it, I probably don't want to repeat most of the things I can think of.
Right. Well, it was the 70s, right?
Oh, look who's here. Hi, did you wake up? Or did you join the podcast?
Our animal visitor.
Join the podcast.
Has arrived.
Join the podcast. You're not mad today. Well, you look a little mad. You look a little mad.
He looks great.
Yeah. Hello. Can you see I'm busy? Can you see I'm busy?
Orange the cat, ladies and gentlemen.
Orange kitty. Yeah. Go see Dylan. Go see Dylan. Yeah. Okay, here he comes, Dylan.
Hey, buddy.
The orange kitty. Anyway, here we are, everybody.
He's great.
Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that story. I actually enjoyed telling it. For all these years, I've always hesitated to tell the stories because I always imagined I would tell them in some setting that I didn't like. Oh, hang on one second. I'll be right back.
Okay, yeah. So, I am looking forward to hearing more about these salacious stories, and I think the viewers are excited as well.
Yes, I'll tell you after we're off the screen. Yeah. Anyway, so that was a good story. I like that story. I don't know why I thought of that story. Out of the clear blue, I think of that story out of nowhere. That's a fucking story. It's got to be a zillion years old. Anyway, that would have to be in the early 70s.
That's great, man. Pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Or whenever it was. Yeah, it was good. So there you go. I didn't know if we were going to tell stories about music or boxing or animals. Those seems to be my two areas of maximum bullshit. The Honest Bullshit Channel, that was the original name of the channel.
That's right.
Yeah, it's like every day I can go into a different mode.
Well, it's good that you have that trifecta of topics that you can go back to, and sort of bounce around depending on how you feel.
I'd like to do a day of failed inventions so I could talk about things that I've thought of and tried to do where I fail so miserably. A few of them were momentously dumb of me. I'd just be on.
Nice.
But all of them, my heart was in the right place, but I had my head up my ass. That's a good way of putting it, man. I never looked at it like that. But that's exactly how it was. My heart was in the right place, but my head was up my ass.
Would you care to share one of those failed inventions today? Give us a preview.
Yeah. Okay, I decided I was going to build boats, but not any old kind of boat. I had this idea for this boat.
Okay.
It was like a catamaran, sort of like, but it was a complete boat. But in the center, it was hollow. There was no, and the cabin where you drive up above, it lowered down and went completely underwater.
Really? Wow.
And so then the bridge that would usually be in the open up high, that would be deck level.
Okay.
And the main cabin would go down and be underwater, and then you could be underwater checking shit out,
That's amazing, yeah.
So that was my idea. Easier said than done. So I decided I'm going to build boats. We go to Arizona, we rent this building because you can do anything in Arizona. You go across the border. Lake Havasu, there's all these boat builders there.
Yeah.
Because you can do whatever you want in Arizona. And California, you can't do it. So people either go to Tijuana or they go to Arizona to do weird shit. So anyway, we're out there. I built 4 boats and none of them float. To make a long story short, I'm the only person in the history of boating that built 4 boats that didn't float. No. I really, and it was so huge. It was amazing. Like, you got to understand.
So like the second you put it in the water, just started accumulating water. And
the first one, we started thinking the hull was all done, but all the superstructure wasn't on it and all the baby stuff. So we thought, well, we'll take and we'll fill it full of weights.
Okay.
And float it in Lake Havasu and see if it floats.
Okay. Yeah.
Just to make sure, because the hull was designed by naval architects, a prestigious firm from Newport. So it wasn't like we were winging it.
I see. Right.
But somehow we fucked up. So we take the thing, we put it in the water, it goes under the water, we go, but we could tell when it was sinking, so we pulled it back out because it was on a trailer.
Okay,
so we pulled it down and it kept going down and down and down and down. And then we go, oops, and we back up, it's all full of water, we got to pump it out.
I see.
So that was a head scratcher. Anyway, so we wound up building 4 boats, none of them floated. Now you got to understand, this is a boat that you could trailer down the highway, so it can only be so wide. That's pretty standard sizes, right? It isn't like it wasn't like I was reinventing the universe.
Sure, yeah.
So why didn't they float?
I wonder if there's some kind of a sealant that can be applied to the bottom.
No, it wasn't that. That's not why they didn't float. They didn't float because they weren't displacing enough water. The displacement wasn't great enough. So the boat sank down and the water came over the top. It didn't come up from the bottom. It came over the top.
Wow, okay. I didn't realize that. Interesting.
That's why we took the hulls down to make sure. So we took it down and then the water came right over the top of the hull. So the hull won't float.
Interesting. Wow, that's fascinating.
But the point being, it can only be like 8 feet wide because of the highways and everything. There's a limit to how big it can be.
Yeah, that's right.
And yet, so why shouldn't it float? So anyway, then I thought, well, maybe those prestigious naval architectural firm made a mistake in their calculations. You know what I mean? Because maybe they fucked up, and that's why it won't float, because it should float perfectly. These are the best guys on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So it turns out there was one other firm that was equal to them, and they're out of Seattle.
Okay.
So we went up there and paid those people to check the work of the other people to make sure their calculations were correct.
Yeah.
And they got back to us and said, well, it turns out their calculations were correct. So that means somehow at our end, we didn't interpret even though everything was, anyway, we fucked up. But not only did we fuck up once, but we fucked up 4 times. 2 major fuck ups, 2 minor fuck ups.
And the other times were with a different design team or
no, same thing.
Same thing. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we thought we'd modify it and make some changes that would work.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Didn't work.
Well, I'm sorry to hear about
that. Then we folded the company, but I still wouldn't give it up. So I tried to do it on my own without the fucking giant Arizona setup.
Okay.
And that's a whole nother story. And I did 2 of those, and they didn't float very good either. In fact, they didn't float. They barely floated, but not enough where you would want to be in the ocean in them.
Yeah.
Or anywhere for that matter.
Right. Right.
Yeah, they were fucked up. Anyway, that's my story. Failed inventions. But it would have been so cool. The cabin goes down, you'd be driving along underwater, looking at everything, and yet there still would be the bridge up above with controls.
Yeah.
Because it was on above. It would be awesome, deck level. It was such a great idea.
Cool. Yeah, it's like some James Bond shit.
And the one that we built that would actually worked and we got underwater with it, we wound up building a smaller one that only one person could fit in. I changed the last one. I thought, I got to somehow get underwater because that was the whole idea of this thing. I should have just bought a snorkel and a mask, but it would have been a lot cheaper. Anyway, but the one that I did get underwater, then the fucking thing when it was underwater, it acted like a fulcrum and it made the boat, if you went too fast, it made the nose of the boat nose in. Okay. So not only was it fucked up, it was double fucked up. So even if it would have worked, it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
Because the part hanging down below would have acted like a fulcrum in the water and would have pulled the bow down.
Yeah, that's right. That makes sense. Yeah.
There probably would have been a way to compensate for that, but who knows?
It seems tricky for sure, yeah.
So we cut all the boats up into pieces and sold them as scrap metal.
Oh, okay.
Scrap aluminum.
Cool, yeah.
That was painful.
Yeah.
Because they were too big just to sell.
Oh, yeah, I see.
The scrap yards didn't want metal, big boat-sized piece of metal.
Yeah.
They pay by the phone, just pull up and have them weigh the boat. I don't think so.
Right.
Anyway.
Damn. Wow.
Yeah. That's probably my biggest major fuck up invention idea. I've built a lot of shit, crazy shit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's one where I really got carried away. I so believed in the idea, you know. I don't know what I was thinking. That shows you can get so caught up in shit. You can be so caught up in shit that you don't get it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that. That was a good story, nonetheless.
Yeah. I went from a fun rock and roll story to how much fun it is to invent shit and try to make it happen. Yeah. And I learned from that experience, but I already knew before I did that. But it seems like I'm a slow learner. But finally I learned it's easy to think of shit. It's hard to do shit. Like thinking of shit is easy. Imagining something is easy. I imagine I could do this. I imagine I could be that.
Yeah, yeah.
I imagine the whole universe, you know.
Right.
Now executing that, any part of that is nearly impossible, right? Right?
Yeah, it's definitely not easy.
Yeah. But somehow it drives everybody forward. So there's a trillion people like myself out there in the backyard inventing shit and doing dumb crap and blowing their nuts off, whatever invention they're using, you know.
Right.
Anyway, I love that shit. It would be nice to see all the crazy people doing their wild shit. I guess there's channels like that already.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, people build stuff, man. They just get ideas and they build shit. Yeah. I'm not a good physical builder, but I think of shit, so I have to get people to help me build shit.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Some guys can do it. They can think of it and do it. I'm sort of an incomplete version. I'm the think of it, and I'm the bullshit part of the whole trip. I have this idea, like my idea for the self-service guillotine.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't personally have the welding skills and the whole deal to build a self-service guillotine.
Yeah, it's theoretical.
But
it's conceptual.
But once again, I believe in the concept. Yeah, I wish I was Elon Musk. I could build shit like that every day. Just wake up every day and have a new idea, some little stupid thing. Oh, today, guys, we're going to build you guys go to work on a self-service guillotine. You can just put your head in it and take your phone out and swipe your phone over the thing and the thing comes down before you can change your mind. No refunds. Sorry, the product didn't work correctly. Should have stuck your head in farther. Be sure to put your chin on the stopping plate. Check first to make sure the drains aren't clogged before you use. Little voice prompting you through the whole deal. It's like going to the market in the self-checkout. You like the self guillotine, self-service guillotine.
Self-checkout.
Self-service guillotine.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Great.
Be a business where you don't need employees.
Well, you're a real humanitarian, Lee.
I know.
Between this and
I've been
Shitstorm.
watching this shit about Canada, and I think, man, there's a market for my self-service guillotine. It's everybody's right. You're trying to crush our rights. I identify as a headless person. Treat me as such. Okay, I got to stop.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Okay, everybody. I hope you had fun today.
Great stuff. Thanks for sharing the stories, Lee.
I had a lot of fun today.
That was some fun stories for sure.
Yeah.
That was a blast.
The first story was a fun story. After that, total chaos. But here we are. It's Thursday, right?
Yep.
I meant to say it's Monday, right? I was making a joke, but I even got the joke wrong, man. I can't believe it. Okay, everybody. 3, 2, 1, poof.